organization right here in Conroe that takes care of orphan children in Haiti, Honduras, and India. We bring the love of Jesus by providing their 6 basic needs of clean water, proper food, healthcare, education, job skills, and a loving home. Visit corelove.org, that's CORELUV.org. Will you help defend the orphan?
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com. All right, welcome to the Cindy Cochran Show, hosted by me today, Dick Schistler. We had a little scare there. I had a Facebook gotcha. I thought we were hacked, and we were not. They're getting pretty clever on Facebook, so clearly they need to hire more people. They make it look like someone did.
Well,
so if you see a post by me or Cindy or anybody, I don't really know what to tell you. If it looks like it's not Cindy.
I don't trust anything anymore. Anytime it says, your friend says hello, they said, hello, how are you doing? I know it's nobody that I know. That's
well, not even that. Like this scenario happened like right before we were going live. My friend texted me. He's like, hey, looks like you got hacked. And I looked at it, and it had my picture, but it had someone else's name next to it. And I knew those people. And I was like, and then it had my name like tagged.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that doesn't look like anything. And I have my setting like private. Everything's private. So I approve of everything that Facebook has on there.
Well, yeah, but
so
I
was kind of scared. I was like, well, how did they get to me then? Like, how did this even happen? How are you seeing this?
Maybe they came in and your whole system has been hacked, and now all your hosts and everybody are going to start getting.
Yeah, maybe that's why I freaked out. That's what I was like. I gotta look at this real quick because this is kind of weird. Like, I know who this person is, and I know she probably got hacked because it's an old person. So it's like, yeah, old people get hacked all the time. But usually you have to click on something to get hacked. And I was like, I don't remember clicking on anything.
But you never got any of those Walmart things.
No, I think the only time I almost got hacked was I got a letter or email from pretending to be the tax collector, basically for the state. And they were saying like, hey, you're late on this payment and you need to pay. And I was like, oh shoot, I guess I forgot. I'm like, okay. and it looked like the login, it looked like all this stuff. But before I did it, luckily for me, I have an accountant that handles all that for me, and I was like, hey, I don't even know. Like, I have my password saved, but it's like, hey, did you pay this? I just want to make sure before I go through the trouble of figuring all this out. And he's like, oh, that's not me. I was like, damn, they almost got me. Like, I was literally at their login screen that looks like the state of Texas. And I was like,
yes. Well, and you know, Carolyn said they will never call you. They're not going to do anything online. You have to get an official letter from them, and that's how you know it's from the IRS.
that's IRS. This is state. This has to do with
It's
your
state.
with sales tax, for state sales tax. You know how companies have to pay sales tax. They do have to pay that, Cindy.
Yes.
So there's ways to do it, and it's majority of it's online. I have to pay sales tax. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
but yeah, that's what got me. Because the IRS thing I get, because I ignore everything the IRS tells me until they like
Right.
show up at my doorstep. Like, I didn't believe you. But the state thing, I can see because you have to do it every so often on a repetitive thing. So it's like maybe we just missed it. You know, it's just one of those things.
Well, so I wonder about the IRS showing up at your doorstep, thinking that they would do something like that now that they're armed and dangerous. And
I bet they've always been armed.
no,
Yeah,
That
I
became-
guarantee you the IRS is like there was an IRS agent that's always had a firearm. I don't think this is a brand new thing, Cindy. I think you're getting consumed by Fox News.
no, it was on the application that they put out on the
but
the web,
that
and then they took it down because a backlash.
yeah,
they
but I
got.
guarantee you there's an IRS before that happened. There was an agent in the IRS that was permitted to carry a firearm.
Well, you think that because when they go out
Like
in
back
the backwoods,
well, because you have to think about this, Cindy. Back in the day, the IRS dealt with cash, so they were probably transferring a bunch of cash. And you don't think those people were carrying guns when they were transferring cash in the
Well-
good old days
well,
with the
sure.
wagon? And, yeah, so,
Sure.
So weapons have always been involved with the IRS,
No.
and probably what they're doing is they're like, hey, we're going to expand the IRS's stuff, and that we're going to put them in situations with cartels or something, some crazy idea. It's like that could happen. It's like, well, maybe we should start training certain level of government employees how to use a firearm. So there you go.
So
Now, are they saying that every single IRS agent in the entire IRS has to carry a gun?
they were just saying,
Are they saying
this is
that?
the application. If you want to work for the IRS, you fill out this application, and in the application, it talks about you're going to be
Like, would you like to
required to
go through training?
carry. Yeah, well, it wasn't an option like you want to be trained, because if they give you a gun, you're going to have to be trained,
Yeah.
and they want to give you a gun.
So you're saying every desk worker there is carrying a piece right now?
That's right. So,
So you're-
everybody's
that's-
very nice to each
So
other.
everyone in the IRS is carrying a gun. Every single person.
I'm sure of it. You had 87,000 people that they're supposed to hire for that. And he's going to look it up on the web. I'm just saying, if you got hired, you got a gun.
Well,
you
I think
got
that.
a gun.
Yeah, I think it's also from what I understood. What it was saying like, are you comfortable with a firearm? Because they probably have a division that's specifically for people who carry firearms.
Then you
I
get
don't
the
think
job.
I don't think they said like we're not going to hire you unless you want to carry a gun. That sounds
Well,
insane.
they want to protect you, and if you get shot
So,
or something whenever you're trying to collect the taxes,
yeah, criminal
them-
investigation special agents who carry firearms in the IRS. So that was probably the application for that role. Not every single person that worked for the IRS starting in 2023 has to carry a gun.
it was on the application for IRS employees, and they took it down, and then they didn't put it back up. They just took that down because
Yeah, I'm
of
looking
that.
at it right now. I'm looking. The application's right there. I'm looking at it. It's
Okay.
for special agents, you have to carry a gun.
Uh,
I'm looking at it right now if I want to apply.
Okay.
So yeah, they probably took that application for special criminal investigation. They're like, hey, look what the IRS is doing. I'm like, that's probably for that specific role.
Maybe they explained it better in this application, but
So-
the first application that came out.
But see, this is what the news does to
When
people
they-
like you, Cindy, and like me. It's these hackers, and they misrepresent it. That's what they do. And then you get the news people saying, can you believe they're hiring people with guns? I'm like, yeah, IRS has, I know some, I mean, I don't know person, but I imagine the IRS people carry guns.
They're supplying the guns, and they're supplying.
Yeah.
It's just so funny that because the liberal side of things and all are just fight against, guns, and they want gun control, and they need more gun control, and then they end up giving 87,000 people guns if they want them, and if they train them. But to me, it's always like,
And look,
of course they need to be
what's
trained.
funny? When I
What?
looked this up, it's exactly what I said it was.
What?
That it was misrepresented in the news because it was an ad for the Criminal Special Investigations Unit looking for IRS agents.
That's not. I
No,
don't
that's
think.
literally. I'm looking
no,
at.
what I'm saying is the first time that came out, and it blew up over the news.
Yeah, I'm looking at the articles from Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they corrected their article saying, yeah, this is for a special criminal investigation unit.
Right. They
So-
corrected it because.
It's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Okay.
not. You think that's an issue for IRS people to carry guns? I think what's funny though, in a clown world, Cindy, is they probably
Yes.
did this because they're going to start taxing the cartels and the drug people. They're going to start. It's like, hey, we're going to need you, John. John, you need to go to Brownsville, and you need to collect this tax. These guys are moving a lot of product, and they're not
Right.
paying their taxes.
Right. Yeah, I'd be that guy to want to volunteer that. You give me a drone with a bomb on it first, and then I'll go in after. I need something to go before
Well, no,
me.
it's like, and here's your handgun.
Yeah, I
So
need
when you it's like good luck. But no, criminal, especially investigative units, I can see that. The world's going to get really crazy here, and I'd say in the next 50 years, because you have the powerful people who have bodyguards and all that kind of stuff. They're like their own military almost, and then you have parts of the world that are like just owned by the mob with guns.
Right.
And so yeah, the IRS is going to be like, you want me to go where and do what?
Well, back in the day we were talking about, and that was just a few days before I was born. Back in the day, they had the people back in the woods where they have to go collect money from them, and they'd say, they had their plan and all. If you lived back there, and they said, "Here come the revenuers," and it was a big war that them trying to get their guns. But it seemed like the IRS people they weren't weaponized, but the people who were,
But we can all agree we don't know 100% of how this world works. So when
That's a good-
when someone says IRS agents carry guns, I'm like, yeah, I can believe that. I can totally believe that. But then again, I don't believe IRS agents exist. I think it's all AI. It's been AI for the past 20 years.
No, now see, Carolyn's going to be here in July, and she's going to be able to answer these
I'm just kidding.
these important.
No, I'm talking about
questions.
the average interaction with the IRS today. Like you don't talk to anybody. It's like all computer generated, or you're doing it through your taxact.com. Like you're not really talking to the IRS unless you're.
No, I sat in the office over at Chase when the lady called the IRS agent to find out, did we have to become some kind of, we had to fill out some kind of form, and the person said yes, they have to fill out that form. And she talked to our person at the bank, and then she told us that, then found out that they shouldn't have had us fill out a form. We weren't, it wasn't needed. But by doing that, it would have caused Sam a lot more headache. He'd had to pay higher taxes and all kind of stuff if we filled out that form. So anyway, there are people there that answer the phone, but whether they know what they're doing or whatever, I don't know. It's just, it's very strange to me. You don't believe anybody. You don't believe anything anyone says. You don't
It's one
feel
of
like
those.
you have faith in that.
Well, I think it's also depends on what context you're talking about. So when stories come out and they make a big deal about stuff, especially in the political and the world, and like especially with Elon Musk, like anything with that guy, you're like, I don't like, who cares? Like, because when it comes down to those kind of stories, you never are going to get the full truth. And
Guess who DeSantis is going to sit down with his first interview with?
I don't care. It's probably Elon Musk.
Right.
I don't care.
Yes.
Like
It's-
I don't.
It's kind of interesting because
Elon Musk is just trying to make Twitter relevant in the future.
Right.
So yeah, he's probably doing it on Twitter. He's probably going like, "Hey, I'll make a donation to your campaign if you come on Twitter and make it a Twitter announcement."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But it'd be funny if they had, they have that ability to project onto your face whoever you want to project on.
That'd be hilarious. And he does it as Donald Trump.
Yeah,
that would be good.
And then he'd have his face and be
Yeah,
talking to him.
and then everyone's getting
That's,
sued.
To
Everyone's
me,
in
that's
trouble.
so scary. Oh, that's really scary what they can do. And my cousin sent me a video of him singing the song, and it was amazing. And I thought it was him singing the song because it was perfect. And he said, no, it's just an app that you can get. So they can sneak in any of these kind of apps. Now, listen to this. Richard, I know you're going to be interested in this. You know all the trouble that Bud Light had recently? Well, they're having an emergency meeting with the Target people because Target has put out these bathing suits.
Oh, I heard about this. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, it's a male. You can tell it's a male that is, modeling it. But they have these bathing suits that hide the male genitalia.
Yeah, I like it. I think I'd buy one of those.
You think so?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a good gag.
Yeah, it would be a gag gift. Yeah, that would
called,
be.
It's called Tuck Friendly.
Tuck Friendly?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. It says Tuck Friendly Women's Swimwear.
What are those T-shirts?
Well, see, this is where this world. I kind of love it because it's like, all right, how far are we gonna go with this?
Yeah,
Because if I'm a company and I'm like, hey, we're gonna do these Tuck Friendly bathing suits, and I'm like, well, what's the other opposite spectrum of this?
What's the other opposite way?
Yeah, like so if this is for, transgender males to females, what about females to males?
They have a
prosthetic, I guess.
A prosthetic,
and
camel toe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. Like this is just. It's funny to me.
That went right over your head.
I know exactly what you said.
You are.
But I was trying to ignore it because you shouldn't be using that kind of language on the Cindy Cochran show.
What's?
Don't even repeat it. Don't even worry about it. It's already saved to the internet. It's on YouTube and Facebook, so people can rewind.
All right,
it.
y'all don't rewind back and listen to that.
You're the one that said it. I didn't say that. Cindy Cochran said that. Cindy Cochran.
I was just making a comparison
Well,
of what they would need.
Who cares about it? I bet you can get some weirder clothes on the internet. So, Target's doing that. Just don't go shop at Target. Like what?
Well, it's the pictures of this guy modeling. This has been out for about 3 or 4 days, and I didn't know they were Target was handling it, and so now they're wanting to figure out whether they're going to take this out of the. If they start getting some feedback from it, bad feedback. I think that's hilarious. I think it's just, and it was funny because they first thought that guy looked feminine enough to be able to carry it off, but everybody, knew pretty quick this has got to be a transgender doing this. It's modeling women's clothes.
Yeah, whatever.
See, remember when I asked you, because I thought it was on the front of Sports Illustrated, because I'd heard
Martha
that
Stewart.
report. That was Martha Stewart, but I'm talking about.
Was it? We don't really know.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Oh no, what are we gonna do, Cindy?
She sure isn't gonna sue because she'd love to look that good. So they have this guy, and I thought it was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but it was just. What are you taking a picture of? What are you doing?
I'm getting messages from people about this Facebook thing, so I was trying to clear it up with them. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm sorry. Now, you guys, we never talk about this much because we're talking so much. Is that if you want to comment on something we're talking about, or you want to, rage about it, or whatever you want to do, it's okay. Because you can put it on the IR Lone Star Facebook.
Yeah.
The Cindy Cochran Show. Not on my Facebook, the Cindy Cochran Show, but you can put it on IR Lone Star.
Or what you can do, the best thing to do to message Cindy is directly message her on Facebook. Not comment under the video. Just directly message her.
But
that way you get that stuff, so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, but it would be all great messages. It would be so uplifting and kind, and those are my friends. I don't know about
Yeah.
your friends, but it's it would be great. And anyway, if you're still worried about that and you don't want to talk,
No,
I can do-
I'm just double checking because you know how Facebook changes stuff every week, and it's
Right.
like, I wonder how this happened. And then I looked, I'm like, oh, they introduced a new security feature that isn't automatically turned on.
oh, you have to.
I have to
Physically
manually
do it.
tap. Yeah, because what it was is, in my deal, I approve everything that they mention my name or mention anything, especially like the station and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to approve it to appear on our stuff. Now they add a new feature where they separated the appearing for everyone and for me. So if you just tag me, it's going to appear on everyone else's wall. Like, oh, Richard got tagged, and even though it won't appear on my wall because I have to approve it to appear on my stuff.
Right.
But in their smart thinking, it's like, well, we're going to divide it. We're going to see if you want to do it, double check it twice, because that's how my friend saw it. And I was like, well, I didn't approve that. So anyone can just tag me. I don't want anyone just tagging me, because that could get really dangerous.
Yeah, I ran across
Like I'll make a post saying, Cindy Cochran endorses Joe Biden, tagging you, and you would lose your mind, but you wouldn't know how to take it down.
I would just
And I had to go through all the steps to take it down.
boy, it would be that would be
Now
just a wonderful
I'm
thing.
gonna do that right now, just to mess with you.
You are not gonna, Richard.
This is how you have to learn.
Richard,
Learn through fire, okay? Learn through the pain.
by you messaging me
No, I'm gonna put it on your wall.
that I said that
Yeah.
so it looks like I said it.
Yeah, I'm gonna Photoshop you shaking Joe Biden's hand, but he's gonna be facing that way, and you're gonna be you both are facing away from each other.
Okay. Well, I already have one where Donald Trump's standing behind me, and I talk about every great man is behind a great woman. But they had
Who said that, right?
yeah,
Who said it?
it's behind every great man there's a woman. But
No, you know who said that, right?
who?
That's the new movement's slogan for transgender.
Behind every. Okay,
That was a
you
good
take
joke.
back getting after
That
me
was a
about
good
saying-
joke. That was a good joke.
So was mine, and then you tried to shame me.
No, you use language that just shouldn't be said. But and that joke was a easy one to come with because I immediately just thought about it because I know someone actually said that. I don't know who it was. Probably like Thomas Jefferson and some crap. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
now it's been appropriated or whatever you were saying.
Now it's politically correct.
I think it's funny because in our world, Cindy, you never really encounter any of that kind of stuff. I can't imagine having kids today because they're so easily exposed to that kind of this new stuff.
Right.
And it might not be in reality sense, meaning like it's their neighbor saying it, but it's like someone sends them videos and all that kind of stuff. And because living here in Montgomery County, I haven't really encountered it. I think the only time I've ever encountered it, which I had to laugh a little bit, was we're nonprofit, so I'm
Right.
constantly trying to raise money,
Right.
and I sent it to a corporation, and I met this person. They're really nice. It's great, but you know how like sometimes when you email people, they send auto replies like I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Well, this one specifically told me they're in a meeting all day for diversity, inclusion,
Equity.
something. Yeah,
Something,
one
yeah.
of the, but like it spelt it out. And I was like, man, I was like, that's kind of weird to like let me know what you're doing. Like, I don't know. It's like, I was kind of like TMI. Okay, cool. Go do that. Like, you don't have to, it was like an email where like, I should be there with them. And I was like, am I supposed to call you there? But that was that's the only time I've ever encountered it in my real life where I was like, okay, cool. That's nice that you're having that meeting. Like, I just thought it was really weird. Because most people say, hey, I'm in a meeting all day.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know. Like, I'm unavailable. But, like, to spell that out for me, I'm like, you got it. Because now I want to do one. And on my personal one,
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm going to be using the restroom for the rest of the day. And if like, I want to do something like that. Because because it's so funny to me when I got that. I was like, okay, cool. I guess that's kind of yeah, it is. Because I don't know how people work in the real world and,
I
like, at a
don't
big
either.
corporation. Because
Yeah, and just imagine how trapped you feel, like being able to express.
well, not even
yourself.
that. It's like imagine trying, like, say your role is extremely important and like it's crucial. So you're trying to speak to people and you're trying to get something done, and then all of a sudden it snowballs into this other thing where like you dead named me or whatever, and it's just like, do you think I intentionally, like, it's like everything's intentional now.
Right.
It's like, do you think I intentionally?
Like, you know what I'm thinking, and you
Yeah.
know why I said this and how I said
Well,
it.
like a good explanation of it is the Athletic A's, Oakland Athletic A's. They're they have a reporter team or announcement team. They call the games and everything. He got fired or let go because he, unfortunately for him, he was describing the opening of the new Negro Baseball League in Kansas City, and they were talking about how cool it's going to be, XYZ, XYZ, and he actually said the N-word for Baseball League. And instead of saying the Negro, he said the other one.
Oh, no.
And of course he didn't intend it. Like,
No.
it was just like he just said it, and they fired him, and it was like this whole, and he was sitting there just promoting it, like.
Did he hear himself say
Oh yeah,
it?
he knew exactly when he said it.
And
He's
they
like,
said-
he's like, oh no, I didn't mean that, that kind of thing.
Oh, he couldn't Michael Jackson
Yeah,
back that.
but
No.
yeah, and he was talking positive about it. It's kind of like, man, I guess we dig our own graves on accident sometimes, and you just kind of roll with the punches. And hopefully, Google doesn't make your name really popular and easily searchable. I would change my name immediately to like Joe Smith,
That's
and just be
right.
like, there we go, dude. That's my. Because I'm surprised people have it. You think that's gonna be a new trend?
Yeah.
Like, say I do something like that, and it's pretty obvious. Like, I'm the 15 minutes of fame guy being an idiot. I got caught. Kind of like that Karen woman from the bike incident in New York, where she was trying to rent that bike, and those people bullied her, and she's like, oh, I just want to get out of here. And she freaked out. It was pretty funny. But
Is that a video?
yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, it was this lady. The video, of course, comes in like halfway through the confrontation, and they were trying to prevent her from taking one of the bikes. And I don't know what their mindset was. It was either their bike, they thought it was their bike, but they surrounded her, and she had her phone out, and she's like, no, yeah, they're touching me. And she's pregnant, and she's like, you're hurting my fetus. And stuff like that. It's almost like a South Park parody. But
I can see.
but it turns out, like, no, she really did rent the bike. She has the receipts. But someone found out who the name was when they were doing the reporting, so her name came out. So now when you search the name, boom, you find it. And I was like, I wonder when people are going to start changing their name, because the internet is so quick to judge you. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to change my name.
Well, why do people on Instagram or have all different kind of? I mean, I don't recognize when people say this person's following you, and they put up their names, and they're like crazy.
Well, that's the new age. That's like the avatar online. Like, that's your handle online.
So how am I going to know to respond and say?
Well, a lot of
yeah, you
times,
can
I think there's an
follow
option in Instagram to put your full name in it.
me. Yeah.
Like, it's in parentheses, so you can see who it is.
Well, then that would defeat the purpose for that.
Yeah, but it's
person.
a handle. So when you're doing
Oh.
like, say my name is 42 letters. Well, I'm not going to do at the 42 letters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a quick handle. So like my handle online was always RPSIV for my initials.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the
yeah.
fourth. So it's
Right.
RPSIV. So when I played games or whatever, I went to forums, I was RPSIV. But now people can find me really easily, so I changed it. So when you look it up, it's like old stuff from a long time ago. Because I realized, I think it was about 15 years ago. It's like, ooh, they know who I am because I'm dumb enough to use my initials.
Well, they'll ask, like.
So that's
do
why
you
on
accept me, and I was like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, just click on them or message them.
No, because you click on
You
click
can
on-
message them and say, hey, who is this? I don't know who you are.
Yeah, but then if it was a scam, or if it was I've just opened it up, right? If I don't recognize that person, I'm not gonna.
I would get off the platform immediately if you don't understand that. I would
No.
I wouldn't mess with it. I just get off of it.
Well, I feel bad because of how many people I may have hurt their feelings, and I didn't want to hurt their feelings.
They don't care.
They don't care?
The internet has like desensitized all of us.
True. Oh, boy, is that true. That is so true. But I just like Facebook. I like Facebook so much. And the grandchildren say, Facebook is so old. You need to be on the other things.
Well, I think it's also, it's kind of like worrisome where TikTok's popular. Because I can see why it's popular, but I think I was telling you the other day, like I didn't even think about this where like TikTok and Snapchat, I can see why it's popular.
Mhm.
But if that's like the main way you communicate, that's where I'm like, that's crazy. Because
Oh,
that's what, I
right.
forgot who it was. I don't know if it was my niece, but she was telling me Snapchat is basically, they text and do everything through Snapchat. And
now,
I'm
is that
like,
where you
Well,
put something on there and it goes away?
well, yeah, original concept was you snap something on your phone and you
Mhm.
send it and it goes away after whatever.
Right.
But they, like, she doesn't even text. She uses Snapchat to text. So you know how when you bother me every day
Yes.
and I'm looking down and I was like 52 messages, what on earth? And then I just call you. I'm not reading all that. But you know, that's texting each other. They don't do that. They
Okay.
open an app like the Facebook Messenger app. So when she tells you you're old for using Facebook, I'm like, aren't you the same thing? You're just using another way to communicate? Like, I don't really
Yeah,
get.
that's true.
Yeah, I don't really get. The fact that you use Facebook to me is a plus at all.
Well,
Because, I mean, I remember my grandfather, he refused to use a cell phone. If we want to talk about old, you know.
he wouldn't use the cell phone.
No. I remember when we got on one of those cell phones that he literally only wanted it to dial 911. And so I remember him having the conversation with the Verizon people. It's like, can you turn off my number? Like, I don't want this thing to ring ever. I just want to be able to dial 911 with it. And I remember they were trying to go through all these things where,
Bless his heart.
Well, no, I get it.
What did he get?
they found something. I forgot what it is. It's something meant for that purpose. Like, it's just for
Just
emergency. It's
emergency?
just for emergencies only.
Uh-huh.
Because like when they would travel, they drive everywhere, and that's so he
Right.
in his travel pack he had the phone, and he had
But what towers?
always-
I mean, is it they
I don't
still
know.
use all the towers?
I don't know.
Oh,
911. I think any phone can really use it. You don't have to have a service. I think that's like a law.
really?
Yeah, I think so. Like say you buy a phone, but you haven't started a service, and you just said 911. I think it would work.
Huh.
I think so.
How do you get the you get so many seconds of emergency airtime, like when your phone says I'm dead, it's gone, but there's a way to get just a little bit more juice if you have to call 911. Is that right?
Say that again. Sorry,
I knew.
I know
wasn't
people are still talking to me. I'm like, I want to make sure this is good. So I already called. It's Mark Zuckerberg.
It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I texted. I was like, dude,
And he said,
when did this happen? You need to change this back. This is ridiculous.
he has such connections, you know, but that's why he's a shishler. Right.
Mhm.
Your dad has got to come be on the show.
Yeah.
Please ask him to say,
And I apologize for looking at my phone. I just want to make sure everything's good.
it's okay. We're not at dinner. It's okay.
Well, I mean, I go to DEFCON 1 when someone says you've been hacked because I usually am pretty good about
Well, sure.
keeping. And I was like, okay, this is not good because
Yeah.
once you
It'll
get
take so
hacked, you
much
don't just
down.
get hacked for one little thing. You're gonna get.
Yeah.
I better check my bank account now.
Ooh. Okay, you can do that. I'm going to tell them what I'm getting ready to do next. I'm going to ask Richard. I love the interview process. And it's not like what we're doing now. It's like what a boss does to a prospective employee that comes in and what questions they ask. There's actually you can Google the trickiest questions they ask on the interview. Do you want to know what they are?
Okay.
If I ask you that, we'll see how
Are you talking about the
answer
AI
it.
thing?
No, this
Okay.
isn't.
Because you asked me about that yesterday, and when you said, I remember you're like, do I have to set up a thing? I was like, yeah, let's see if you figure that out. Because when I was figuring out, I was like, I don't really care about this. Because you have to
Listen.
do all this stuff just to talk to chat. I'm like, this is just another way to get my contact information. It's so creepy. I don't.
I figured out Fubo and got it on my
You mean TV? Fubo
Yes.
TV?
Fubo TV.
Okay.
I figured that out, how to get that into my on my TV. I was so proud of myself. I couldn't believe it. And it was with his name and his
I can't believe you have
Password.
all that stuff.
he didn't. I listened to him and my
Oh
and
my
my
gosh.
and my son.
Are you one of those people who like puts the tape on the dial so you
Just-
know you can
yeah.
see where he pushes it? You know, that kind of thing. It's like I gotta figure out. I put the
Well,
camera. You put the camera right there
I
so you can record it.
See, because I always have to come. He wants to watch it in his man cave, the Astros. So he's getting Fubo to watch Astros, and I like to eat and watch the Astros, and he doesn't want me to eat the stuff I like to eat, and so it's kind of
That's because you don't use a fork or a
argument.
knife. Cindy.
No, I'm not. Anyway. So anyway, I listened to him and what he said, and I walked over to my place and used all of his stuff and got it, and it was great. Now I can eat whatever I want to eat and watch.
Great. Now you're gonna be driving your car, watching Steel Magnolias or something, and then be like getting a little wreck.
No. You know what I used
That's
to
what
do
it's
though?
not, really. That's probably what's gonna. You have it on your phone right now.
I got it
We can watch something on Fubo right now.
right now if I want to. No,
Okay.
but I used to. This shows you how old school this is. I had to travel back and forth to Dallas a lot, so I would get
Is this your drug milling days?
no. So I would get a small portable TV and get a converter, and then
Yeah, I know.
plug it
I know
in,
exactly what you're talking about.
and I would watch and it had I could put the VHS tapes in and watch
While you're driving.
movies while I'm driving. And I was always
Jesus.
so scared that if a policeman pulled me over and saw that I was doing that, but it was only where I could get through a 4-hour drive. I was just like I couldn't
4-hour
stand-
drive. I know.
yeah.
I hate driving, but there's better ways to not distract you from driving. You can take little breaks every hour. Get out of the car. It might take you a little longer.
It wasn't that I was looking at the picture, but I was like listening to the
I
I
get
Love Lucy shows and things that I knew what was going on, and so it was just listening to that. But how far we've come that now I have all this stuff on my phone now.
I like how I go, now you're going to be watching Fubo, but clearly you've been doing it since the 90s with your little TV.
with my little TV in there. And one time, now this is terrible, and I hope Walmart's not listening. I bought the TV before
And
I
you
left,
returned it.
and then when I came back, I returned it.
See,
And
I
that's
feel like that's too
terrible.
much of a commitment for such a short use.
Mhm.
Like, if that's the only way you can get through a 4-hour drive,
Yeah.
why don't you just take the bus?
Oh, what? No, I needed the flexibility to be able to get where I want to
okay,
go. So,
okay.
and then when I go see my sister, it was a 7.5-hour drive. So it was just
Like,
you
I'm going
know-
to go see my cousin in Bernie, and it's a 4-hour drive, and I already have that planned out. I already know what I'm listening to, got my playlists, and I know what I'm doing.
okay. Do you listen to books?
No, I listen to podcasts,
Oh, okay.
like the Cindy Cochran Show. Remind me of
It is
how long it's come. Because,
This-
you can listen to the episodes from, like, 2016.
no 2012.
Well, I think 16 is when we started the podcasting.
Oh, the podcasting. Okay, because
'Cause 2012 was way more. That wasn't.
that was with way more.
Yeah,
Well,
that's not me.
no,
Cindy,
that's right.
this is Lone Star Community Radio.
Yes, I understand.
Are you
This
sure it
is-
wasn't Carlos in your drug muling days when you were? Well,
your drug muling days?
Yeah.
that's great. That's.
I mean, I've
great.
seen the Clint Eastwood movie. I can see you still doing it. If he
Yeah.
can do it, you can still do it.
What's the name of that movie? That was
The
that
Mule.
Was
I think
the
it was
Mule.
called The
Yeah,
Mule.
it was. I felt so
Boring. It
bad
was
for
boring.
him. I felt because you don't like to see movies about old people.
No, like Gran Torino is one of the coolest movies I've seen recent, like in the past 20 years.
I
and
never
it's
got to
like-
see that.
It actually had a good story to it. The Mule was just like, okay, cool. He's driving a truck.
You knew what he. I mean, you kind of knew what was going to happen, but he was.
I wanted him to be the full kingpin. He just takes over the drug bureau.
Let him
Yeah.
have it.
And then, like, the closing line would be like, he's the only cartel boss who died of natural causes. You know, the myth lives on.
I think it's time for him to let go. Okay, here's the 10 most common tricky interview questions and how to answer them. And how are you going to answer them? What are your weaknesses?
What are my weaknesses?
Yeah.
I'm unhealthy.
Now, how's that going to affect you in your job
I
here?
mean, I could die at any moment because all the bad food I eat.
Well, then, you may not be able to sign up for our insurance.
And like I can't lift heavy things.
You can't lift heavy
So like if you
things.
fell on the ground, like you're dead. Like if I had to carry you out of a fire, like I'm not gonna be able to do that. I would just leave you because I'd be like I physically can't lift up Cindy because I'm so weak.
Hey, Brenda, can you send in the next applicant? Okay, so the second
Oh,
question.
am I being interviewed for a job? I
Yes, for a
thought this
job.
is you me talking.
No, this is
Oh.
this is for
So who are you? Are you Elon Musk? And you're like, I'm gonna give you the best job if you answer these questions.
Right,
We
if you
got
can ans- if
Tell
you
me what
can
job
answer.
it is. Where am I applying to?
you're applying.
Is it for like a science or is it like a government position?
for the male person?
So for the male person, I'm
Yeah.
trying to become a mail carrier like my
Male-
great grandfather.
Yeah, and you have to go around to
Okay.
all the different
Mail carrier.
departments and give them their mail.
Yeah, postman. Okay.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Okay, let's say what are your biggest weaknesses?
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm interviewing for the postman job.
right. What are your weaknesses?
My weaknesses would be I send emails more than I mail letters.
So you're really against post
That's my
letters.
weakness.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in. I
Oh.
really appreciate your time. And don't call us, we'll call you. Okay, here's the next question. Why do you want to work here?
Because communication is important and consistency is key to clear communication.
That's great. What is your background to
I'm a
provide you
I'm a
with that?
legacy.
You're a legacy?
Yes, my great grandfather was a mail carrier for 42 years.
Aha.
So I grew up in the family business.
That is fabulous. We can go ahead and just send you right up to Postmaster General. That would
Yeah,
be great.
pretty much. I even have all the credentials of the union.
Yes.
I got the plaques. I got the watches. I got all that
Yes.
stuff.
Now, if you have any problems
And we share
with-
the same name, so you technically wouldn't have to change in the paperwork.
Sure, but what about problems with, cranky women coming in to complain to you because they don't go to HR?
First, I don't identify women and men.
You don't-
I asked what their pronouns are first, so I take offense to that question. So reword it, please.
So, do you want to change the word mailman to mail what?
Well, mail carrier. Mail carrier. MAIL, not
Oh.
MALE.
Mail carrier?
Yeah. Oh, well, we should probably change the word mail too.
Because it
To
sounds
letter carrier.
way too much like MALE.
Yeah.
That may be misspelled at any time.
We should bring this to the top.
Okay, and so why are you leaving your current job?
What's a dream to be a mail carrier?
But
Follow my great grandfather's footsteps.
could you not get along with the people there? Did you get along with them?
Oh no, I sold it for $1 billion, so I'm financially good.
Oh, okay.
So this is fulfilling a dream. I now have time for my dreams.
That's great.
Yeah, delivering mail.
And you would do that knowing how rich you are. You
I would.
financially
I'm
are
doing,
well
I'm
taken
doing that
care
because
of.
I know I have the free time to dedicate to being the best mail carrier possible.
Okay, and you want to be a good example to your other employees.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell me a bit about yourself?
I feel like through our interview so far, you've known quite a bit about myself that I'm willing to share.
It's really not. It's a little vague. I need something more solid. Tell me something about yourself that you would.
I am not allergic to anything
You're not allergic to anything.
besides marijuana.
You're allergic to marijuana.
I'm allergic to marijuana
And how do you know that?
because I was slipped something.
You were slipped. You're not a smoker, though.
No.
If we gave you a drug test right now, how
Not
do you think
100%
you'd fare?
pass.
You'd pass?
100%.
Who's your friend that you would use their urine?
I would use my friend that is downstairs.
Okay. What if you said that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Then
Well, you see, you're doing the bad job of being the interviewer because most people who are doing job interviews don't want to be there. So you got to just be like, what are your weaknesses? You're like, you're not a psychologist. I'm applying to be a postman. Do you think they really care? They're like, oh, you look able-bodied. Can you carry over 10 pounds? Yeah, you're good.
okay, describe how you reacted when you had to work with a difficult person.
Like right now?
That might be a good way to start. How
I always think about after the interview what I can do to improve my day from this terrible situation.
That's very
Do
good.
I have enough time in the day?
That's very good. And where do you see yourself in 5 years or 15 months or whatever you want to?
I see myself delivering mail.
Delivering mail.
Like I said, it's been a dream, and now I have the financial security to do that for the rest of my life.
But don't you feel like this job may be
But apparently it's illegal just to deliver mail. You have to be a United States postman. You can't just start putting letters in mailboxes because that's illegal.
Yes, that's illegal. Yes.
So
well,
that's why
good
I'm
that you know that.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. That's
Because I've been arrested 14 times
for putting
birthday cards in my family's mail. Somehow they always seem to catch me.
what?
I remember the first time my dad told me that, where it's illegal to put, because in the neighborhood,
Right.
and he's like, hey, you're gonna have a birthday party, you need to give your letters to
Your invitations
to your
everybody?
buddies. So, and we all live in the same neighborhood, and so I would just put it in their mailbox. And he's like, you can't do that, right? And I was like, what do you mean? Isn't that the whole point of the mailbox? And then, no,
Right.
you can't do that.
That's a very good point. We need to have a little sidecar to that mailbox, maybe, that you could put, personalized
Not
things.
U.S. mail.
Yeah,
And then everyone thinks you're a terrorist or something, because it's like, what do you get delivered that's not U.S. mail?
Well,
Well, it'll be
just
FedEx
a
and stuff, but I mean, it's just
just a personalized event, and especially if it's an event that's on the neighborhood, it would be
Let me ask you this. I've been seeing a lot of, because we only have a couple more minutes.
okay.
I've been seeing a lot of these videos on like Nextdoor, and then especially like the neighborhood web Facebook groups, and those Ring cameras catch all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of wild to me that behavior out there of people, when it's like, do you usually just walk into people's yards just to walk into people's yards? Because like recently, I've been seeing a lot of it the past year, especially
And
after
walk up on the
COVID.
steps and
It's like, hey, someone came up to my door and just didn't do anything. They just came up and just went and just walked off. Or they one video that was posted recently was somebody walked up to their neighbor, saw the package, opened it up, realized it was a HelloFresh meal kit, so they just threw it down and just left it. And I'm like, okay. And then there's another video of someone checking the mailbox. It's like, let me check this person's mailbox.
Well, here's the way to completely resolve that, is to have all of those items brought to you in a Cologuard box, and I don't think they'll touch it. Do you know what a Cologuard is?
Oh, colon guard.
It's
Yeah, you poop in it. You poop in a box.
Yes. So
Yeah, I've already made. One of my friends had one of those, and I go, isn't it kind of weird that there's thousands of people pooping in a box right now? Like, that's kind of weird, but I get it. I mean, it's a good idea, but it's just funny to me because there's going to be at least one person who doesn't follow the instructions, and they
Right.
think they literally have to poop in the box.
now,
You know what I'm talking about? Like, they're literally
Yes.
dropping trowel, like open the box, and they're going like, no, there's a way to do it. But
you collect it.
but
and
you
you
know,
have to put it-
yeah, I know there's a whole process to
Yes.
it because it's for medical reasons, so it
Right.
has to be sealed and all that. But I could just see that one person just going like, well, the commercial. I mean, I don't know. And then you have that.
They're not specific enough. It's a wonder they haven't gone to animation yet, and so
No, they
show
do.
you.
They have an animation.
No.
Well, okay, I get what
I
you're
meant
saying, like
collecting
instructional
the-
video,
and put it
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
little bag.
But
And,
no, it's just funny to me because I was like, that's happened, and that poor technician got into work, going through, like, that's your job, is to open the boxes of poo, and then, like, and you're just like, oh, another one.
But you're
another
a
one?
mailman. You're a mailman. You have to deliver that box or
Yeah.
take the
I
box
think it's
away.
great.
And it's such a unique thing. I just, mailmen.
Well, see that kind of thinking though really does help long term, because getting those results is extremely important,
Yes.
and the convenience of doing it at your home is important
Oh yeah,
for especially non-able-bodied people.
right.
So it's like that's a no-brainer. But I just it's just funny.
It's just, but I mean, I can't imagine you go to the doctor and because you'd have to time that out.
See, that's what
just right.
that was what was unfortunate with that Thanos woman who lied about the blood test machine.
Right.
Because I watched a documentary about it, and they were talking about the future plans of like if it worked, and it was really interesting because they would work with like CVS and people like that. So you would go to the CVS, get your blood taken, and this machine would test it there and send the results to your doctor. And so there's any like, because it's supposed to test for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to go, you didn't have to make a doctor's appointment. You didn't have to do any of that. It was just like you go to CVS and take care of it right then and there. And then, a week later he'd call you and be like, hey, I got your results. I went over it. Da, da, da. So it's like, the convenience factor in medical care is going to be very important going forward with it. So.
Well, what's?
Wait, are you pooping in a box?
And I poop in no,
You're not pooping in a box?
No, I've done that. I can't imagine the mailman picking it up with a little smile on his face, and no. And he knew where it came from, and I don't know how weird the person is. They could be opening it up and going just see what it looked like, and
Someone has to. Someone has to open.
But
that
I
box
want it to
up.
be a doctor who sees so many. Or nurse that sees so much of this all the time. It doesn't bother them, and they're not going to take it personally or anything like that. But I just appreciate so much you being here today, Richard. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Do not go away. And first responders, we love you. 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 Thank you. Bye.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran's show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton